Greetings. This week we are in Burundi. We're going to start with Isombe, which is a cassava stew with some other vegetables. We are in Southern California and don't have access to fresh cassava leaves. Leaves are here, got them frozen from our local Asia market. Here I'm chopping up some yam or sweet potato leaves that will be going with that. Stems and leaves, finely chopped. From my understanding, Isombe is from the Democratic Republic of Congo and is popular in a lot of Central African countries, including Burundi. I'm mostly concerned about not chopping off my fingers. Using what's available to me, which is sweet potato leaves and leeks and eggplants, some peppers, and tomato. Please do not judge my chopping. I have cooked sweet potato leaves before. They're typical of other greens where they'll wilt down pretty small. I'm gonna set it aside. We're going to use a leek. This knife is very heavy. I'm not quite sure how to use it yet. Leek, done. Next veggie is eggplant. This is from the garden. This is a Japanese eggplant. The garden had some habaneros and padrones, so I'm just gonna add these. A few recipes called for cilantro. I'm using parsley. A good bunch chopped up. Essentially all the vegetables are going about at the same time, except the tomatoes. The tomatoes are going last. I'm gonna chop up a couple of cloves of garlic, and we should be ready to start eat and cooking. This knife is dangerous. Ooh, I cut myself. Knife change. The other knife is just too much for me. Too much power. Next dish we'll be working on is the red beans and green banana dish. I'm going to start by chopping up some onion. Banana! Okay, so 1 red onion, beans, palm oil, and red chili. We have little baby serranos from the garden that are red. I'm going to finely chop these red chilies. Some green plantains. Potato. It's like I'm chopping potato. This is a bean and plantain dish. We have some red beans, kidney beans I believe these are, and the plantain is here. So we're going to start by sauteing the onion, then we'll add the beans, plantain, and chili. Okay, so we're gonna add some palm oil. A lot of palm oil in it. I'm gonna let the oil heat up a little bit. Then I'll add the leeks and garlic. We will saute this until fragrant or translucent. They're starting to get translucent. So we just added the cassava leaves, and then I'll be adding the sweet potato leaves after this. We'll add a little salt and pepper now. Some recipes ask for Maggi seasoning, I don't have, and others said to use bouillon type of seasoning. This is it. Salt and pepper. Going to add a little bit of water here, just a tad. Also, my shoes have been squeaking. It sounds like I've been farting. We're going to let this cook down for a little bit, maybe 15-20 minutes with the lid on, and then we'll add the rest of the vegetables. Palm oil is nice and ready. And add a little salt now. In the back here, we've had the Isombe simmering. I'm gonna add the rest of the veggies now. Eggplant, peppers, and parsley are going in, and we'll let that cook for maybe 15-20 minutes again. The water has mostly evaporated, so I'll add just a tad bit more here to help the eggplant mostly cook. We like garlic in this household, so I just chopped up some garlic and now I'm adding it. I think this is a good time to add the kidney beans. This came from a can, so they're pretty cooked already. And also add the plantains now. A little salty, and the chilies go in. In the back, the Isombe has come to a pretty good simmer and everything. I'm going to add the tomatoes now. Chopped tomatoes go in.
Chop, chop.
We'll let that go a little bit, and then we'll add the peanut butter and a little bit more palm oil.
Peanut butter? What?
This is colonialism, bruh. And we will add some water to this and let it simmer. Maybe like a half a cup to help it cook down some more. Mostly cook the starchy plantains down. So we will let this simmer down for about 20-25 minutes. We are now ready to add the peanut butter. Add some peanut butter until we get a creamy consistency that we want. Water just to make it more stewy. And let it simmer for maybe 5 more minutes, and then we'll kill the heat, and that should be done. Next we have Ugali. Ugali can be made from various flours, most commonly from cassava or corn, but some make it out of wheat flour. Water on the stove heating up, and I'll be adding flour little by little now. Taking care not to get lumps. Ooh. We're just gonna do this. Okay. Okay. Ugali is basically almost done. And if it's not done, I'm sure someone will tell me, but my arm feels like it's about to break off. I need a big wooden spoon, 1, and bigger mussels, 2. This is our first meal out of Burundi. We have our ugali made out of wheat flour, our isombe made out of cassava leaves, and sweet potato leaves and some other vegetables. And finally, we have our plantain and bean dish. We tasted things as we went along. It tasted pretty darn good. Bon appetit! Today we'll be making brochette. Brochette is skewered meats, usually goat, sheep, or beef. I have beef today. The marinade is typically onion, garlic, cumin, paprika, salt, pepper, oil, and lemon juice. So I'm gonna start by grating the onion. It's a very popular street food dish, usually over charcoal. We do not have a charcoal grill, but we have a propane grill. Hank Hill would be very proud. Bubba! Oh, that looks interesting. Oh my god, that's a spicy idea. Be careful not to grate your hands. I am crying right now. Smush some garlic. The lemon. The lemon will help tenderize your meat, just cubed meat. Always clean hands. All right, now for the dry stuff, I'm gonna put some salt. Always salt your meat well. Next is paprika. Generous amount. And then cumin. Some black pepper. lastly, some oil. Coat it nicely. Now, the fun part, to mix. It smells really nice. Once everyone has had a time to be all nice and coated with everything, we'll cover and set aside for at least an hour. The longer, the better, but at least an hour would be good.
All right, the grill's nice and hot, so we're gonna get our brochettes on there. We're just gonna put them on one at a time, just like that. You can hear them sizzling. That's how you know your grill is ready. That's science. And let those grill for a while and come back and baste them every now and then. All right, we are basting and flipping. These guys are looking nice and juicy. Coming off the grill. We already took a few off earlier. They were on a little earlier, but these look delicious. We got some nice char on the outside. You can tell they're still nice and juicy. They're glistening, except for that one in the corner. That was actually made for my mom. She likes dry meat. I don't know what to tell you.
Next, we're gonna make one more side dish, which is a vegetable side dish. We had some sweet potato leaves left over, so I'm gonna make the rest of it, along with some greens I picked from the garden. We're gonna start with an onion. We'll grate some tomato, garlic, saute that, and then add the greens. Garlic. This is scary. I'm afraid of sharp objects. Cool. The greens from the garden are collard greens or greens from the cauliflower and broccoli I've been growing. Very edible, but a little tougher than the sweet potato leaves. So I'm going to try and chop this very finely, and I'll be dropping them into the pot before the sweet potato leaves so they could cook a little longer. Adding the onions first. We're gonna let this go, cook down a bit. As far as seasonings go, it's just salt and that soup base we have, the vegetarian soup base, I'll add. Now I'll add the garlic. The onions have gotten nice and translucent. I'll saute the garlic in there until it becomes more fragrant, maybe like a minute or two, and then I'll add the tomato. Now I'm gonna add the tomato. Some of the soup base goes in now. And a tiny bit of salt. Now I'm gonna add the collard-like greens from the cauliflower plant. They cook a little similar to kale or collard, so I'm putting them in because they'll cook longer than the sweet potato leaves. I'll add the tiniest bit of water to just help them cook. Now I'm going to add the sweet potato leaves. I'm going to add a tad bit more of the bouillon or soup base and a little bit more salt, a little bit of water, cover it and let it cook for some time. Alright, this finished up, cooked down a lot.
Let's take a look at that. All right. Delicious.
All done.